UG to PhD College for Men situated in West Bengal. He was for over 6 years the editor of the Vedanta Kesari, a monthly cultural and spiritual English magazine published from Sri Ramakrishna Math, Chennai. During this period, he was the spiritual mentor of Vivekananda Study Circle, a student body of IIT Madras. He also served as a member of IIT, Commandant of Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Moral and Spiritual Education, a unit of Ramakrishna Ashrama, Mysore, and he is engaged in training students, teachers, professionals, and general public in living the higher values. He has a doctorate in English literature from the development programs and corporate companies, and he has received award for outstanding achievement in undergraduate major from the Berkeley University, and he has received Chancellor Fellowship for PhD study from University of California, and he has received Franklin Postdoctoral Research Grant from American Philosophical Society. He has also received Dharma Civilization Foundation Research Grant. He has also received Sri Aurobindo Award, and wonderful person of this occasion. Now I am having immense pleasure to invite Swamiji, please.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. A very good afternoon to all the teachers assembled here. I'll be sharing some thoughts with you today on this topic, man-making education. I request you to participate. I know after lunch it will not be that easy, and addressing teachers I know is little different than addressing students. Teachers are used to giving lectures, not attending lectures. So now I request you to participate if you can. Swamiji had this phrase on his lips quite often, man-making. He has many places he has told this. What we need is man-making education, man-making religion, man-making concepts. Whatever it is that you are doing, it should be man-making. To understand this, let us go and begin from the foundation, man-making. So certainly we should have a deeper understanding of what is man. Who is man? If I ask you, who is man? What will you tell? Manushya. Who is man? Teachers are not used to being asked questions, no? Teachers only set questions. But teachers should know answers also. I assume we all know, so I'll give the quotation. Swami Vivekananda writes, it is not that he has discovered it, it is a discovery of Indian culture. Swamiji says, man is a compound of animality, humanity, and divinity. 3 words. Man is a compound of animality, humanity, and divinity. I repeat, man is a compound of animality, humanity, and divinity. Manushatva, Pashutva, Manushatva, Daivatva. Pashutva, Manushatva, Daivatva. You are all of a generation which believed in arranged marriage. Most of you at least, not the modern Facebook marriage. So when you gave your jatakam, your parents gave your horoscope, boys horoscope, girls horoscope, what do they see? What do they see in the horoscope? Matching boy and girl? You didn't go into arranged marriage? No? Yes. So they arranged, you don't know. And you probably are not so old that you have to arrange for your children. What they see is ganas. 3 ganas. Anyone knows? No? Rakshasa Gana? Rakshasa Gana, Manushya Gana, Deva Gana. Same thing. Swamiji is putting it in English. Man is a compound of animality, humanity and divinity. What does it mean? It means our level of consciousness can function at the animal level, human level, divine level. Pragne in Kannada, level of consciousness in English. What is your level of consciousness? It can function at the animal level, it can function at human level, it can function from the divine level. 3 levels in which the consciousness can function. What is animal level? We are all born animals. We are just another animal on this earth. Very strange animal. Other than its own skin, it wears so many skins. Silk cloth, wet cloth. What all decorations it does. No other animal does like this. And no other animal has all this creation. Ishvara Srishti is one. Manusha Srishti is another prapancham. Only this special animal called human being has this capacity. But despite that, a human being is born an animal and majority of people die as animals. What do you mean by animal? Animal life or animal level of consciousness means it is a life which is controlled by body and senses. When I am controlled by my body and my senses, it is an animal life. And when I am leading such an animal life, my priorities in life are focused only on food, sleep, sex, shelter. These 4. Any other animal does the same thing, I also do the same thing. And I do more than the other animals. In procuring it, in protecting it, and in taking more than what I need. No other animal preserves it like that. So in animal level life, awareness is this. All whatever he thinks or she thinks and does is to meet and fulfill these basic animal level needs. And such a life is an instinct driven life. Instinct. I don't know what will be the Tamil word for that. Instinct driven life. What instinct tells me scratch, I scratch. Instinct tells me eat, I eat. So when a person is like this, he may be very intelligent. IAS officer, Nobel Prize winner, PhD holder, but still an animal. Very handsome animal. Very rich animal. This is Rakshasa Gana. They are dominated by body and senses. Next level is Manushya Gana. Now I told you majority of people are in society, any society, they live at the animal level. It has nothing to do with how good looking you are, how intelligent you are, how rich you are. Whether you go to temple 3 times a day or worship 5 times a day, you can still be an animal. Someone may ask, what is your problem if I live like an animal? I am not harming anyone. There is a problem. An animal level life, which is instinct driven life, is perforce a selfish life. Animal life is a selfish life. We'll have to be brutally honest to face this. When people go behind these pursuits, food, sleep, sex, shelter, they say it is for the sake of family I am doing everything. That is a self-life. It is for my own pleasure that I do that. But we camouflage it, we use euphemisms and we say, oh, it is for my family that I am doing. Basically it is for my own good, my pleasure. There is selfishness at animal level. And when a person is selfish, he cannot but be, very soon, greedy. A selfish person becomes a greedy person. There is greed behind that because it is body senses dominated life. And greed leads to corruption. So that is this sequence. Selfishness gives rise to greed. Greed leads to corruption. Corruption is not just taking bribe. Don't confuse corruption only for taking bribe. I am a very honest teacher, I don't take bribe. No opportunity to take bribe, so I am not corrupt. Corruption is not just taking bribe. Corruption is not performing my duties. Corruption is not recognizing my responsibilities. Not fulfilling those responsibilities and duties is also corruption. So selfish life, greed, corruption. This is the sequence. That is why in India we have so much corruption. Highly educated. You give marks and send out brilliant students to society. How many of them are honest? You don't know. And do you teach them that you have to be an honest officer? You have to serve our country honestly? You may say, I don't want to ask the question, are you honest? That will not be a safe question. But that is the fact. We are not talking about commitment. We are not talking about values. We are only talking about marks. That is the animal level existence. Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda's guru, he says, gender, that is a man or a woman, when his or her mind has awakened to higher thoughts and ideals, can he be called a human being? Are you a human being? Yes, only if your mind has awakened to higher thoughts, higher ideals. Higher thoughts does not mean domain knowledge. Higher thoughts is the higher truths. Has your mind awakened to that? Awakened means, are you engaging with those ideas, higher ideals? Are you struggling to leave those ideas and ideals? Then you are a human being. Or else you are just a very good animal. I don't harm anyone. Yes, you are like a sheep or a deer, but an animal. That's why Swami Vivekananda says, if a man with an ideal makes 1,000 mistakes, I am sure a man without an ideal will make 50,000 mistakes. Can I ask you, I request you to answer this. You are all teachers in lecturers in such a good institution. Is there any ideal that you are practicing? Can you please tell me? Any ideal that you are practicing consciously as teachers? Any ideal, please? Please tell me. Tamil sollu mudiyum. Is there some ideal you are practicing? Does it mean you don't have any ideal? You are not putting into practice consciously any ideal? Swamiji says, if a man with an ideal makes 1,000 mistakes, a man without an ideal will make 50,000 mistakes. Okay. Theoretically tell me, what are one or two ideals that a teacher, a lecturer should have in college? Am I making sense? I don't know. Do you follow me? Do you understand me? Can you tell me one or two ideals that a college lecturer should have and practice? Yes, please. Punctuality. I am sure you knew this. Punctuality. That is, you come to time. Madam was telling, on time is late, before time is only punctuality. Okay, punctuality is one. Anything else? Yeah, make the children to concentrate on studies. Honors. Okay, how do you do that? Now, that won't probably qualify as an ideal. Like I would say, one of our senior Swamis taught me this. Never make an ego issue with your students. Can that be an ideal? For Adarsham Avuma, Adarsham, ideal. Not to make an ego issue with students. I was joint controller of examinations. One maths teacher who came to our college, he was not good in his domain subject. So students were not happy. General subject students would laugh because he used to make mistakes. Then the teacher was so irritated, he told them, I will, in Bengali it comes, Dekhbo, मैं देख लूँगा तुमको, in Hindi. I will see you. Students came and reported to me. This new teacher has threatened us. He sees textbook and still makes mistakes. And this is general subject, not even honors students. I kept this in mind. When paper setting was done, I called the HOD and I told them, this teacher has threatened our students because he doesn't know his subject and his ego is so strong, he wants to take panga with the students. HOD saw the question paper. He had given last two questions were out of syllabus, very tricky questions. So we changed it. That is an ideal. I just wanted to draw your attention. If you don't understand what is ideal, my talk doesn't make any sense. Animality, humanity. To rise to humanity, we should have some higher thoughts, higher ideals. If I ask you, why are you working here in this college? What would you say? Why are you working? Why are you teaching in this college? You are very disappointing teachers. I don't know how students listen to you. You can't answer. Pardon? For getting salary. Okay, then. Can that be an ideal? No. And you told me you don't have any ideals. Huh? Develop skills among the students. Okay. Now, to rise from the animal to the human, I need some ideals. An ideal, one example from my country, can you give me? What is the ideal of India? Motto? The motto of India? Satyameva Jayate. Truth alone wins. That is the ideal of India. We as Indians believe truth will finally win. It doesn't matter whether I am a Hindu, Muslim, Christian. We believe truth will win. That is the ideal of India. Like that, if I can hold means contemplate and try to put into practice some values, higher values, then the mind will start rising above the body and senses. That means the body and senses will be kept under control. Unless this body and the senses are kept under control, I cannot be a good teacher. I'll come to that point. Animal level life is instinct driven life. When this instinct is controlled by the power of vichara, vichara means reasoning, what is right, what is wrong. By the power of vichara, I control the senses and the body is kept under control, then the mind awakens to the higher level of consciousness, manushatva, humanity. Humanity means it is reason-driven life. Animal life is instinct-driven life. Animal life is selfish life. Human life, our president, one of our presidents, Ranganathananji, he was considered the cultural ambassador of India. He says human level life consciousness is enlightened selfishness. Please note this word. Animal level is selfishness. Human level, enlightened selfishness. It may say like, what is enlightenment in selfishness? At selfishness level, animal level, this person who is at the animal level, you can easily make out. When he talks, he loves three words. I, me, mine. Whatever he talks, it will revolve around this. Na adu pannite, na inga poite, na adu sollite, nano. I, me, mine. I, me, mine. Rooted around him. The whole world revolves around his identity. That is selfishness. When he comes to humanity, there will be a little expansion. He will start telling, I and we all, I and you all, I and you. There is an expansion in his thinking and feeling and probably also action. There is an expansion at least to include other people. That's why Swami Vivekananda says, expansion is life, contraction is death. Expansion is life, contraction is death. Expansion of heart. When you start feeling for others, you start living. In a letter to the Maharaja of Mysore written in 1894, Swami Vivekananda writes, my noble prince, they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Are you living for others? Then you are really alive. Are you living for only your sake? Then you are more dead than alive. Not at all alive. So enlightened selfishness means he starts thinking about the good of others. I and you, I and we all. What happens when there is this reduction in selfishness? To understand that, we should understand our concept of sin. What is Sanatana Dharma, which is now commonly known as Hinduism? What is Sanatana Dharma's understanding of sin? Swami Vivekananda says, selfishness is the chief sin. Selfishness is the chief sin. Everything else is because of the chief sin called selfishness. Therefore, he has another statement. What is God? Who is God? He says, unselfishness is God. Unselfishness is God. Here is a college girl, very selfish, very stupid maybe, And after marriage, still selfish, little less stupid. But the moment she becomes a mother, something happens. The moment she becomes mother, there is a transformation in her. She will give up her life for the sake of her child. Only one character, one personality manifests this unselfishness. That is why our scriptures say, Matridevo Bhava. Let your mother be like a god unto you. Then Pitrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. Because they manifest unselfishness. Unselfishness is purity. So then the mind becomes expanded, heart becomes expanded, it includes other people. There is a reduction, lessening of selfishness. There is more of unselfishness. This unselfishness manifesting in the mind is what is called as purity. That mind, as it becomes more and more unselfish, it becomes more and more pure. And that pure mind will reflect the inner divinity. That is it. Divinity is our true nature. Our term for that is Atman. Jivatman, so many terms we use. Swamiji has used the word here, divinity. That is my true nature, Nijaswarupam. That is reflected in the mind. When it is reflected in the mind, it is an intuition-driven life. At the bottom, instinct-driven. At the Manushatva level, reason-driven. At the highest or deepest level, divinity level, it is intuition-driven life. Divine wisdom it is called. So this progression or evolution from animality to humanity, religion is not simply believing in God. Religion is that which lifts a man from a brute to man and man to divine. Swamiji says, religion is that which lifts an individual from the brute to the man and man to the divine. Now, I come to the context of teachers. Teachers are nation builders. That's a statement. Teachers are nation builders. Not the politicians, certainly not the politicians, nor the businessmen, nor even the military. It is teachers who build nations, because a nation is shaped in its classrooms. But not every teacher does that, and not every teacher can do that. There is a difference between an ordinary teacher and an acharya. Only an acharya does that. Ordinary teachers cannot do. There is a difference between just a teacher and an acharya. English doesn't have a word for acharya. Acharya is one who leads by example. By his example, he teaches his students. That person is called an acharya, and only an acharya is a nation builder. Rest of them, they may be good in their domain knowledge, but domain knowledge does not build character. Domain knowledge teaches how to master a subject. It doesn't teach how to be honest. It doesn't teach how to rise over selfishness. That requires a different level of capacity, and a teacher should have that. If a teacher does not have the capacity, if the teacher is functioning from an animal level, he has already done injustice to the students. But we are now in a society where the society says you have passed these exams and you have this qualification for because of so many reasons. You are a teacher, go teach 30 years and spoil the students. And God's grace, if he is good in his domain knowledge, that itself is a great blessing. If a teacher is good in domain knowledge. But that is not going to build our country. We will have more and more intelligent people who will be dishonest because they function from animal level. If a person is functioning from the animal level, he is bound to be corrupt because he is greedy. Selfish, greedy, corrupt. A teacher has to rise to the humanity level at least. So when Swami Vivekananda talks of man-making education, what he means is that he says, first rise to the level of the humanity. Train the students to rise to the level of humanity. They should not be born and they should not die as animals. In this great land, we had a very powerful personality called Vishwamitra, a great Chakravarti. He understood the power of asceticism, and there is a long story. He became a Brahma Rishi. And he saw a mantra. Anyone knows what is that mantra? The mantra seen by Vishwamitra? Gayatri mantra. Gayatri mantra. Unfortunately, this great land, India, it decided, for we don't know what reasons, It should be chanted only by Brahmins. What is the meaning of Gayatri Mantra? Om Bhur-Bhuvasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaf Prachodayat. Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka. This is the loka I live, the loka of the Pitras and the loka of the Devatas. Bhur-Bhuvasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo. That Savitur means the Surya, the light, the divine light. That is God in simple word, Bhagavan, who illuminates these three lokas. His light is, effulgence is indescribable, very great. And I pray to that light, oh Lord, I am praying to you. What is the prayer? Get a job for my son, get a good husband for my wife, get me a promotion. No. Gayatri Mantra has only one prayer. Dhiyo Yonaf Prachodayat. Awaken my higher intelligence. Awaken my higher intelligence. Awaken my higher intelligence. Intelligence can function at the animal level. Intelligence can function at the human level. Intelligence can function as the divine. So Gayatri Mantra says, awaken my intelligence. Let me be awakened. This intelligence should awaken. Everything is in the mind and everything is in that intellect. And if the intellect is at the animal level, that person cannot understand any higher thoughts. It will all bounce over his head and he will say, I can't understand. And because I can't understand, it has no value. That will be the rejection. In Belur Math once, Swami Mahamedananda, when he was alive in 1902, one day he told one of his Brahmin disciples, arrange for Upanayanam for 150 people. That man was surprised. Where will you get 150 boys to take Upanayanam? Swamiji said, you arrange. And next day, from working class people, laborers had come. Swamiji showed, give them all the Gayatri Mantra. He said, how can they receive? Swamiji said, yes, they can receive. Every human being has a right for this. It is not that Vishwamitra sat and wrote. It is the eternal mantra. He saw it. He only was a drashtara, a rishi. Rishis are drashtaras, means they see these great truths. And that truth is this. Oh Lord, awaken my higher intelligence. I am born like an animal, but I don't want to die like an animal. So when a boy gets this Upanayanam, he is called Dvija. Dvija means twice born. First time he is born an animal. Second time he is born as a human being. When I am born from my mother's womb, I am just an animal. But when I awaken my higher intelligence, I am born as a human being. Awakening this higher intelligence is something every human being should have, irrespective of his religion or caste. Only when that intelligence awakens to human's level, I will start functioning as a human being. Manushatva, all the qualities of a human being. Humanity is the word that will manifest. Or else it is only animality, and in a civilized society it is camouflaged. Swamiji says, your civilization is only skin deep. Scratch and the tiger comes out. It is culture which matters, not civilization. You may have all high-tech things and very posh English and very courteous behavior. Touch their purse, touch their selfishness, all the claws come out. It is culture that matters, and culture comes only when that individual's consciousness has arisen to the humanity level. So when Swami Vivekananda says man-making education, it is this he is talking. But unfortunately, in our country, soon after independence, we continued what the Macaulay system had, preparing very intelligent, useful animals. And we are paid a price for it. One of the corrupt countries, India, including this state and the state I am from, Karnataka, highly corrupt. Everything is corrupt. Why? They are all highly educated, and why are they so corrupt? Animality. Animality, selfishness, greed, corruption. Corruption means not performing, not understanding, not following my duties and responsibilities. In family, in society, in institutions where I work. I was just addressing the students in the morning. I want to tell, I am working here in this college because I have a subject expertise and I am passionate about this subject, and I want to train this younger generation in my subject. I love chemistry and I want students who understand chemistry. I make them experts in chemistry. That's why I am teaching here. And I am teaching here because that is my contribution to my country. You are lecturers here because you want to contribute to your country. A byproduct is your salary. If you are going to work here only for salary, you are not even a teacher. Please don't mind. teachers should be at least brave enough to listen to some harsh truths. If you are working only for a salary, you are not a teacher. I am working here so that I can fulfill my responsibility as a citizen of India. It is my responsibility. I was educated in this country, in this subject. I have domain knowledge. Now I will pass it on to the next generation. That is my responsibility. When I see this responsibility, only then I will know how to fulfill that responsibility. And when I start fulfilling that, my consciousness automatically will rise from animality to humanity. But again, for that we need ideals. I told one ideal. A teacher should never make an ego issue with students. There are teachers even now who make ego issue. I told that example. You talk back to me, I'll show you what I can do. Yes, teacher has power. The moment he uses that power to put down the student, he is no longer a teacher. Similarly, punctuality is one thing you told. You should, as a group, it is such a big institution. The institution cannot give a notice and tell these are your values, these are your ideals. Because it doesn't matter whether institution tells or I pick on my own. Values and ideals are something which I need to rise from animal to the human. And when I rise, it is a blessing to my family, blessing to society, blessing to my institution. And especially when I am a teacher, when I rise to humanity, I am a blessing to my students. There are teachers who say, why talk about all this? I have very good domain knowledge, that is enough. No, it is not enough. A teacher with only a domain knowledge is not a complete teacher. Why? Swami Mahamedananda again tells. You see, every moment we are influencing each other. You are influencing her, she is influencing you. Every moment we are influencing each other. In this mutual influence, only 1/3 is created by your words, by your dress, by your mannerisms. Swami Vivekananda says, 2/3 of the influence is created by what you are inside. He calls it personal magnetism. That is your character strength. That character strength, that personal magnetism exerts 2/3 of the influence. If it is strong, you will have more influence on others. If the other person's personal magnetism, character strength is strong, he will have more influence on you. And as teachers, we all have an influence on our students. Many of you have children. You have known this. If you tell something, your primary school boy or girl will tell, no, our teacher has told like this, you don't tell me. Even if you say, I am also teacher, he will not listen. He will say, I will listen to my teacher. At college level, they may not listen to you, but they are still susceptible and they are still open to your influence. And that influence is not domain influence. That influence is your character influence. What is the level of your awareness? A teacher has to be a nation builder. Only then this nation will survive. And a nation builder teacher is one who has risen or who is struggling to rise from animal to humanity. Only then he will be able to understand what is man-making, and he will be able to become a teacher who imparts man-making education. We have a huge country and we have politics, unfortunately. National education policy is a wonderful education policy. But every state, some politicians play their politics. So the system is always going to be like this. But as an individual teacher, when I stand in the classroom, nobody can stop me from being and functioning as a human level. I will be a teacher with a domain expertise and also function from the humanity level. That is my contribution to my country, my contribution to my students. That is what this institution would also expect from you. And I hope and pray you have understood my points, and God will give us the strength to at least struggle to rise from animal to the human and be the nation builders that we ought to be. Thank you. Shri Ramakrishna Math.